Good morning, guys. How are we doing? Today's the 18th, 19th of March. I don't know. I'll put it down below. I always do. Something like that. And I figured it was probably about time to explain exactly who I am and what I'm doing here. So I figured this morning's as good as morning as any. I'm outside. It's lovely. Well, it's not quite lovely. It's a bit overcast, but it's not too bad for York, to be honest. So, my name is Pam. A lot of people call me Blue or the Blue Pixie because of that's my brand. The Blue Pixie Studios is my business, and I am known and have been known for the last 15 years as the Blue Pixie. So, Blue's food, that's where it comes from. I am a qualified chef. I worked as a qualified chef for 26 years till I got a serious back injury that pretty much toppled my career at that point. So I started studying and I became a qualified dietitian, nutritionist and herbalist. I'm still studying, by the way. I'm still studying more and more things because I can't help it and I need to. And the reason that I did all this was because I'm very much a believer of those who can't teach. And one of the things that I discovered after my back injury was that I also have autism and ADHD. This was a family secret, apparently. I was diagnosed when I was a kid, about somewhere between 5 and 7, and it was kept as a secret, so I was kept as normal as possible. I would have been diagnosed with Asperger's at the time. But yeah, so I'm currently going through the stages of having to get re-diagnosed, which is fun. Can I just say, at 47 years old, that's the last thing you think you're going to have to be doing. So after my back injury, I also discovered that I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. At one point they thought it was ME. So glad it wasn't. Can't explain to you how glad I wasn't. But it is fibro, definitely. I also have other stuff going on like rheumatoid arthritis, where my joints are basically eating themselves away. And it's believed but not yet proven that there is an issue going on with my thyroid now. Who knows? But I don't take much medication. The reason I don't take much medication is I can't. It makes me ill. I have reactions to it. I have very big reactions to it. Most pain medications either make me violently ill or I end up in hospital on a heart monitor because of heart palpitations, etc. They've caused major issues in the past, and I don't want that to continue. Of course, this makes it very difficult to explain to people why you don't take your medication. They're, well, why don't you just take it? It's like, well, because I'll be dead. So the other stuff is that the stuff they give you for fibromyalgia does not agree with me either, and I can't spend my life being 23 hours in bed and 2 hours up, not being able to function properly like a normal human being, which is pretty much the stuff they give you. So I don't do that either. So my journey now is to put all my knowledge and all my skills into making myself better. Now that will come from the ground up, from growing our own food, which we are doing the best we can at this point, because we live in York, which is an 8B zone. It's incredibly windy. We also live in a flat at the moment. We still live in a flat that has a communal garden. So we're not permitted by the council to actually do very much of anything. And any structures we put up, like polytunnels, have to be seasonal only. Even though we have the support of the other 3 flats in this particular block, or the residents of those flats in this particular block. So we are doing the best we can with what we have, but it's better than nothing at the end of the day. I'm not going to argue, right? We also have a very late frost date, last frost date, which is May 10th. Yeah. So not having polytunnel, not having room because our windowsills are just non-existent, can I just say. And not having the space to have like a grow setup or anything. We literally are going to have to start from scratch at the end of this month, probably the middle of April, and hope to God everything survives. Tanny has been considering putting up the polytunnel. The reason that we haven't been putting up the polytunnel yet is because we are on the list to move. We're in council housing or government housing or whatever you want to say. We are on the list to move, and we don't know when that could be. We are on the highest band possible for moving due to my disabilities, and until we move, we're pretty much stranded with what we can do. The only things that we can do, we can put in containers. We can't even use the front bed this year, which we've been using the council's put in flower bed for our veg as much as possible. We can't really use that because everything we've put in there has to be dug out when we go and put in containers. And also, you know, Tanny's 50 this year, and he already has a not great back, and you know, shifting everything, I'm not going to be able to do very much of anything, to be honest, which sucks. And so for him to move everything and 1,000,001 containers with our food in it for the year is not really feasible. So we're doing the best that we can. We're also not composting this year because obviously moving a half composted compost bucket is not the greatest of plans, which really sucks actually. It really does suck. I would very much like to be putting our compost away, you know, but we can't do that. So but once we move, the idea is that we bid for a place that has its own garden, that we have that choice to do that, and because of the kind of place that we need to be in, it means that we'll have more storage, which means our stuff will be out of storage, because half of my belongings are in storage. So that money, then we can go on the list to get an allotment as well. So not only can we have a kitchen garden, but hopefully we'll be able to have an allotment, which will be awesome. The big dream, of course, is have a piece of land with a house on it. That's the big dream. That is my dream. That is what I've always wanted. I did have it for a little while when my kids were little. It had an orchard and all sorts, and we used to have the bird Hilton, poultry Hilton is what we used to call it, because it had turkeys and ducks and everything was all kept in together. It was that big, and they were all happy together. It was great. We had a back paddock, which I was in the process of removing a plant called Salvation Jane, because it was riddled. And I was not only doing it by hand, but I was doing it in other ways as well, like using, I don't know if you've ever had a quarter of a packet that you're trying to cover in newspaper and cardboard. But yeah, the neighbours do look at you a little bit funny. So yeah. But it was a great house. It was great where we lived, and I loved it. and the kids loved it, and they literally, I didn't see them from the time they had their breakfast until they were hungry again, you know. So that was cool. But having that again would be awesome. Those little kids that were climbing up 50-foot bloody cedar trees, and I'm not even kidding. Not exaggerating, this thing absolutely scared me to death. My youngest was 2, and he'd follow his brother up the tree, who was 7. Well, that eldest is now 30. So, you know, it is what it is. Anywho, that's pretty much me. I'm now on a journey to health through growing things, getting outside a bit more, and, you know, basically using all of the knowledge that I've gained, all of the skills that I have, to put together a treatment program for myself that starts at a genuine food level. That's you've got to start there, you know. And I do the best that I can with what I have at the moment. I do have limited mobility and limited ability to do very much in the day, but I do what I can, and hopefully by doing more of that, the better I'm going to be. And that's the plan. So yeah, this is me. This is my journey. And yeah, so that's pretty much where the whole of everything comes from. And yeah, if you're already joining me on this journey, oh God, you poor buggers. But if you haven't and you're watching this and you want to, please do subscribe to the channel. I will be doing all sorts of things, whether it's outside or in the kitchen, or to do with, you know, making zero waste, whatever it is, natural things. Crack on. I'm all good with that. Also, yeah, give the video a thumbs up. I don't care. It's all right. It's up to you. I'm not that worried. Anywho, I love you guys heaps. I will see you later on. Whatever you're doing today, take it easy. Do what you can. Don't push it to yourself too hard, because we all know what happens when you do that. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye bye.